Hello and welcome. In this lesson, we will look at lookup functions. Lookup functions help you locate or look up specific values in large data tables. For example, imagine you have the address and phone number of all your contacts in an Excel table. And if you need to find out the phone number of one specific contact, you can use lookup functions. There are several lookup functions in Excel, such as VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, match, and index. Let's start with VLOOKUP. Once again, in this example, you have the name, the address, and the phone numbers of a list of people in this table. And let's imagine that you need to find out the phone number of Adam Smith from this table. So to do this, we need to look for Adam Smith in this column, and once found, we need to pick up the phone number mentioned in the third column of that row. Let's see how the VLOOKUP formula can help you do this. So I write equal to VLOOKUP. Now the first argument is the value that you would like to find. In this case, that is Adam Smith. So the first argument becomes cell G5. The second argument is the data table. So in this case, it will be the table in columns B, C, and D. Notice that we have provided the whole table as input, but Excel will only look for the lookup value in the first column of this table. This is important, and we will discuss this in a little more detail later on. The third argument is the column number from which you want to pick up the output. So once you find Adam Smith in this table, from which column of that row do you want to pick up the output? In this case, we want to pick up the output from the third column, so the third argument should be 3. The last argument is an optional input. It tells Excel whether you're looking for an exact match or an approximate match. If we enter false, Excel will look for exactly Adam Smith. And if we enter true, Excel will look for the nearest match of Adam Smith. For almost all practical purposes, we should set this argument to false. And now, if you press enter, you can see that we have been able to look up the phone number of Adam Smith. The point to note is the VLOOKUP formula only searches for the lookup value in the first column of the data table. So for example, in this case, the data table contains serial number, name, address, and phone number. So the name Adam Smith is not present in the first column of the data table. Now if you wanted to look up for Adam Smith, you have two options. The first option is you could start your data table from column C, ignoring column B. The second option is to not use VLOOKUP and use some of the other functions that we will discuss in subsequent lessons. So that's it for this video. Before we proceed, a quick summary of the VLOOKUP function. The VLOOKUP function allows you to look up a specific value in a data table. It takes 4 arguments. The first argument is the value that you would like to look for. The second argument is the data table in which you want to look up for the value. And remember that Excel will only search for the lookup value in the first column. The third argument is the column number from which you want to pick up the output. And the fourth number is a true or a false depending on whether you want an approximate or an exact match. So that's all for this video, and see you next time.